Hello everyone, welcome to the new academic year 2020-21. My dear students, in chemistry, we are going to start with the first lesson, that is language of chemistry. In this chapter, some concepts we have already done in 7th and 8th standard, so we are going to revise that concepts and we are going to learn some new concepts. The concepts which we are going to consider in this chapter for today would be what are symbols and valency and what are radicals. In the ongoing lectures, I'll be again teaching about chemical formulas, chemical equation and balancing chemical equation, atomic weight and molecular weight, percentage composition of compounds. So before moving ahead, let us understand what does or what is the meaning of subject chemistry. Now, chemistry is a branch of science which deals with the description and classification of matter and the chemical reaction it undergoes. As we know that in earlier time when science was not developed and only few elements were known to us, so there was no proper system of symbolizing an element. John Dalton was the first scientist to use some pictorial representation for representing an element. For example, like if he wanted to write hydrogen, he used to draw a circle and in that circle he used to draw a dot. For symbolizing copper, he used to draw a circle and in the circle he used to write C. For symbolizing sulfur, he used to draw a circle like this and he used to put a cross line. Now we know that we are living in a modern world and we know that there are 120 elements. And if we use these symbols which was put forward by John Dalton, it will be really difficult for us to remember these symbols. So later on, Berzelius coined the term symbol and he used symbol with the first letter of the name of the element. Now actually we are talking about symbols. So what symbol is? The symbol is the shortest abbreviation in place of name of an element. Now there are certain rules to decide the symbol of an element. The first thing we should know is the symbol of an element is derived from its English, German and Latin names. Now important points to be taken into consideration while writing the symbols of an element. First thing is, a symbol is generally represented by first capital letter or alphabet of the name of the element. For some elements, the symbol are derived from their Latin names. If you remember in the 8th standard I have taught you, like sodium, symbol is Na because sodium has a Latin name natrium and the symbol of sodium is derived from that Latin name. Similarly, potassium, symbol is K and its Latin name is kalium. There are 13 elements which have or which symbols of those elements are derived from their Latin names. Now if suppose like if I am using H for hydrogen, capital H for hydrogen, I cannot use capital H for any other element which has or which starts with letter H. Like for example helium, if I have already used H for hydrogen, I cannot use only H for helium. So in that case, when two or more elements have same initial letter, the first letter and the second most prominent letter is taken into consideration. And please remember, while writing the symbol, the first letter should be capital and second letter should be small or in the lower case. Now let's see some of the names of certain elements and their symbols. Now you can see the chart in front of you. In the first column we have name of element and their symbol beside them. We can see that the first column has more common elements like hydrogen H, oxygen O, nitrogen N, sulfur S, chlorine Cl, bromine Br, iodine I, boron B. Now here comes the symbol of those elements which are derived from Latin names like sodium Na, potassium K, mercury Hg, because mercury's Latin name is hydrogram. Copper, again symbol is Cu because copper Latin name is cuprum. Similarly iron, it is Fe, Latin name ferrum. Lead, Latin name plumbum, therefore symbol Pb. Silver, Latin name argentinum and thus symbol Ag. Gold, Latin name Latin name aurum, symbol Au. Now rest of the elements symbol are derived from their English words like calcium Ca, magnesium Mg, aluminium Al, zinc Zn, barium Ba, nickel Ni, manganese Mn. And student, please remember, do not get confused between manganese and magnesium. They are two different elements. Magnesium is represented by Mg, whereas manganese is represented by Mn. And the last one, platinum Pt. So I hope that you are clear with the concept of symbol. Please remember, while you are writing the symbol of an element, the first letter should be in the uppercase and second letter should be in the lowercase. That means the first letter should be capital and the second letter should be small. Now let's move to the second most important concept, and this concept is really going to help us while compound formation also. The concept is valency. Now actually, what do I mean by this word valency? Now valency is the combining capacity of an element. Now when I say combining capacity, it makes a little difficult for us to understand that part. So let's understand in a simpler way that valency is the total number of electrons lost, gained or shared in order to complete duplet or octet in the valence shell of an element. Now what do I mean lost, gained, shared, duplet, octet? Now in our lower class we have studied there are 4 cells in an atom, K, L, M, N. K can have maximum 2 electrons, L can have 8, M can have 18 and N can have 32. Now when we are learning the octet rule, we always say when an element has 8 electrons in the outermost cell, it is said to be stable. This is the octet rule. Therefore the word came octet. Octet means 8. Only in case of helium, when we have 2 electrons in the outermost cell, that is the K shell, it is considered to be stable. Why? Because K has the maximum capacity of 2 electrons. Therefore the word came duplet. Now let's take some example to understand when are the electrons lost, when are the electrons shared and when are the electrons gained. Let's take an example of sodium. Atomic number is sodium, atomic number 11, electronic configuration 281. Magnesium, atomic number 12, electronic configuration 282. And I hope that everyone remembers I taught you this electronic configuration writing in 8th standard. So in case of sodium, if you say we have 1 electron in the outermost cell, if I donate this 1 electron, my electronic configuration becomes 28. I have 8 electrons in the outermost cell, so sodium will become stable. So sodium will lose 1 electron and gain octet, and this 1 electron lost is its valency. In case of magnesium, if you see, magnesium atomic number 12, electronic configuration 282. If I lose these 2 electrons or donate these 2 electrons, the electronic configuration of magnesium would be then 28. Again octet completed, and the valency of magnesium would be 2. Please note here students that while writing the valency, I will not say plus or minus sign. When we'll be coming to the concept of radicals, I'll teach you when to put plus and when to put minus. But here also we can generalize, when an element is donating electron, it gains positive charge, and when an element is accepting electrons, it gains negative charge. Reason I'll teach you when I'm teaching you radicals. Now let's see, we have taken two examples where we have donated the electron or lost the electrons. Now when is the electron gain? Let's take example of phosphorus, atomic number 15, sulfur, atomic number 16. Now electronic configuration of phosphorus will be 2 8 5, and that of sulfur would be 2 8 6. Now if you see, in case of phosphorus, I have 5 electrons in the valence shell. Now I have two ways to complete the octet. Either I can donate these 5 electrons or I can accept 3 electrons. Now from the numbers itself we can understand that donating 5 electrons is difficult as compared to accepting 3 electrons. Therefore, in case of phosphorus, we will be accepting 3 electrons and my electronic configuration would turn to 288. That means I have gained 3 electrons and the valency of phosphorus would be 3. Please remember again, I have taught you a simple definition of valency, that valency is the total number of electrons lost, gained or shared. Here I am gaining 3 electrons, therefore my valency of phosphorus is 3. Similarly, in case of sulfur, you have 6 electrons in the outermost shell, that is the valence shell. You can accept 2 electrons because acceptance of 2 electrons is much easier as compared to donation of 6 electrons. Once sulfur accepts 2 electrons, its electronic configuration again becomes 288. Octet completed, thus the valency of sulfur is 2. Now let's check some example where we are sharing electron. The best example is carbon, one of the most important element in chemistry. Electronic configuration of carbon will be 2 4. Now in case of carbon, I can donate 4 electron as well as accept 4 electrons, but carbon neither donates 4 electron nor accepts 4 electron. It completes its octet by sharing 4 electrons with other element. Alright, so I hope that we are clear with the concept of valency. We'll take some examples to understand it more. Now here you can clearly see, for atoms of element having 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the valence shell, valency is equal to number of electrons in the valence shell. Like for example, we took sodium, atomic number 11, electronic configuration 281, 1 electron in the valence shell, therefore valency 1. Magnesium, atomic number 12, electronic configuration 282, it has 2 electrons in the valence shell, therefore valency is 2. Aluminium, atomic number 13, electronic configuration 283, 3 electron in the valence shell, therefore valency 3. You can apply the same concept in terms of elements having valency or 4 electrons in the outermost shell. Like in case of carbon, atomic number 6, electronic configuration 24, valency is 4. Silicon, atomic number 14, electronic configuration 284, valency 4. But in case of elements having 5, 6, 7 or 8 electrons in the valence shell, you can use the formula valency is equal to 8 minus number of valence electrons. Again I am repeating, in case of elements having 5, 6, 7 or 8 electrons in the valence shell, you can apply the formula of valency is equal to 8 minus number of electrons in the valence shell. Like we did the example of phosphorus, atomic number 15, electronic configuration 285, there are 5 electrons in the valence shell, so I'll subtract 5 from 8, that is 8 minus 5 is 3, so the valency of phosphorus was 3. Sulfur, atomic number 16, electronic configuration 2, 8, 6. There are 6 electrons in the valence shell, so 8 minus 6 is 2. So the valency of sulfur is 2. Chlorine, atomic number 7, electronic configuration 287. Here we have 7 electrons in the valence shell, so 8 minus 7 is 1. In case of argon, atomic number 18, electronic configuration 288. There are 8 electrons in a valence shell, octet is complete, therefore its valency is 0. Please remember students, in case of helium, if there are 2 electrons in the outermost shell, the valency is 0 if the outermost shell is K shell. If the outermost shell is L, M or N, and if it has 8 electrons in that shell, the valency will be 0. In short, the valency for noble gases is 0. Therefore, in the periodic table, they are also known as 0 group element because their valency is 0. Now, as I told you that we will be learning about radicals. Now, what are radicals? Radicals are atoms or group of atoms carrying either positive charge or negative charge. Now, when we will have negative charge and when we will have positive charge. Now, positive charge radicals are called as cations or basic radicals. At the same time, negative radicals are called as anions or acidic radicals. Now, when we are doing the concept of valency, I told you that electrons loses, shares or gains electron. When any element loses electron, it forms positive radical, that is cation, and when an element gains electron, it gains or it becomes anion and is called as negative radical. Now let's understand how we have classified positive radical and negative radical. Let's look at the example. Now if you see the examples of positive radicals, you have Cu plus 2, NH4 plus 1. Please remember, radical can be a single atom or can be group of atoms. Like in case of positive radical, if you see the second example, NH4 plus 1, that is ammonium ion. In case of negative radical, if you see the second example, SO4 minus, it is minus 2, it is called as sulfate ion. Alright, so they are radicals having 2 atoms. That is, in case of ammonium, it is nitrogen and hydrogen. In case of sulfate, it is sulfur and oxygen. But let's go to a little basic of these radicals to understand that how are positive and negative charge decided. Let's take example of sodium again. Now sodium has atomic number 11, therefore its electronic configuration is 281. When sodium tries to become stable, sodium donates this 1 electron. Now when sodium is donating 1 electron, we should remember in the 7th standard, if you remember, I taught you atomic number of an element represents the number of electrons or number of protons present in it. Again I am repeating, atomic number is the number of electrons or the number of protons present in an atom. Now in an atom like sodium, as atomic number is 11, therefore it will have 11 electrons and 11 protons. Please remember students, atom is electrically neutral because the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons present in an atom. While forming radicals for compound formation, they donate or gain electron. Like in case of sodium now, please look here. In case of sodium, when we have 281 as electronic configuration, sodium will try to lose this 1 electron and try to become stable. So sodium has lost 1 electron. That means now sodium is only left with 10 electrons. But how many protons are there with sodium? 11. Why? Because the atomic number of sodium is 11. So it has 11 protons, 11 electrons. But to gain octet, it has lost one electron but not lost that proton. So sodium now, after donating one electron, will have one proton extra. So it is plus 1. Similarly, if you look at the example of aluminium, atomic number 13, electronic configuration 283. Now when aluminium was an atom, it had 13 electrons and 13 protons. Electronic configuration here you can check is 283. Now to gain octet, aluminum will donate these 3 electrons. Because please remember, I can complete the octet of aluminum by 2 ways, either by donating 3 electrons or accepting 5 electrons. Now as I always call that chemistry is a subject of lazy people, so we try to do easier work than difficult work, and here easier work is to donate 3 electrons rather than to accept 5 electrons. So when aluminum donates these 3 electrons, aluminum is left with 10 electrons, at the same time 13 protons, because during the radical formation only electrons are lost or gained or shared. There is no change in the number of protons. So as we have 3 protons extra here, what do I mean 3 electrons extra? In case of aluminum, when I donate 3 electrons, I have 13 protons and 10 electrons. So as we have 3 extra protons, my radical aluminum will be Al plus 3. Now if you remember the example which I had taken in my presentation, that is copper plus 2, that indicates that copper has lost 2 electrons to gain the octet. Now please remember students that these radicals will be required, these valencies will be required by you to learn or to understand the chemical compound formation. When we are doing the chemical formula, you will be requiring these valencies. So I would request as a homework to go through your textbook, learn valency of common elements. From a book there is a table given which shows elements with +1 valency, elements with -1 valency, elements with +2 valency, elements with -2 valency. At least try to learn 10 valencies each day for next 10 days. This will really help you in my next lecture in the compound formation. I'll give you a best example, just a gist for you to understand why I'm asking you or requesting you to learn the valencies. Guys, also if you have not learned last year, I given as an assignment, if you remember, the first 30 elements with their atomic numbers. Now this is a very good time for you to go ahead and utilize this time to go ahead and work on the previous concepts also. What you can do is, you can write the names of first 30 elements like hydrogen, helium, lithium, and beside that you can write their atomic numbers like 1, 2, 3. Write their electronic configuration 1, 2, 2, 1. Make a separate column, write here their valency. If you practice in this way, do not have to mug up the things. Remember guys, if the work is done in a systematic way, it becomes much easier for us to remember. Now I told you I will be telling you about the significance or importance of why should we learn the atomic numbers, why should we know how to write the electronic configuration. Because if you are aware of atomic number of an element, you can write its electronic configuration, and once you are able to write its electronic configuration, you can easily calculate the valency of that element. For example, if you remember, we have done calcium, atomic number 20. I don't want to mug up the things. What I want to do is simply understand the concept. How can I take out the valency? Now we know that electronic configuration of calcium is 2882. So you can clearly see I have 2 electrons in the outermost shell, so its valency is 2. Now if I want to form a compound between calcium and chlorine, I simply write the formula. Atomic number of chlorine, it is 17, electronic configuration 287, 1 electron gain. Therefore, chlorine will have Cl minus 1. That is, valency of chlorine is 1. In case of calcium, as calcium is donating 2 electrons, so its valency will be plus 2. Now we have Ca plus 2, Cl minus 1, cross multiply. The formula between calcium and chlorine is CaCl2. Now in this example, you can see clearly that by having the basic knowledge of atomic number, I have written the electronic configuration. From the electronic configuration, I have calculated the valency, as well as I have calculated which radical is formed. If you can see, Ca plus 2 is my positive radical or basic radical or cation. At the same time, as chlorine is accepting electrons, so it is a negative radical or an acidic radical or an anion. Please know these terms are one and the same. Cations means atoms having positive charge, anions means atom having negative charge. So cations are also called as negative radicals or basic radicals, and cations are called as positive radicals or basic radicals, and anions are known as negative radicals or acidic radicals. I hope you have understood the concepts, and we'll be in the next class learning about chemical formula and how to calculate the molecular mass of a chemical formula. Again, I am repeating, your basic concept would be, please read the first four pages of the textbook, learn the atomic number of first 30 elements with their symbols, try to write their electronic configuration, and from that try to calculate the valency of an element. Once you are done, we'll be good, we'll be carrying forward and we'll be doing the chemical formula in the next lecture.